Hello again. This is the place, the thing, and I'm Judy Sleed, and today I'm honored to have Rabbi Baumgarten. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, thank God.
I'm so happy we finally got together.
Sure.
And you could tell us all about Hanukkah is coming up.
Yes, actually starts tomorrow night, the first night of Hanukkah. It's called the Festival of Lights.
Yes.
And it's a very, very special time. And we celebrate 8 days. And I'm sure most of the people know about the great holiday going back 200 BC under the Syrian Greeks. It was pretty good for the Jewish people in the Holy Land, in the Temple Mount, in the Holy Temple. But they brought new laws in, not allowing to the Jews to observe their holidays, Sabbath, kosher weddings, and etc. And in fact, they defiled the Holy Temple by bringing alien gods into the Holy Temple. And a war which took place about 3 years, because finally there was the old priest called Matisyahu, and he had 5 children, and he said, enough is enough, and we have to stand up for our rights and for freedom of religion.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hanukkah is one of my favorite holidays. We have a lot of good foods to eat, and also the menorah. We light the menorah, which is over here. All right, so go ahead.
So Matisyahu and his sons decided that they have to do something about it, even though there was very few in numbers. But Matisyahu had his 5 boys, his 5 sons. One of them was called Judah, known as Judah HaMaccabee.
Yes, Judah Maccabee, yes.
Right, Judah Maccabee. And he was, so to say, the general who ran this war and trying to bring back the holiness to the temple. Mm-hmm. And he fought, and even though there were very few of the Jews who fought, but they had God on their side.
That's always good.
That's always good. And with the help of God, they conquered back the Holy Temple. And when they finally made it into the Holy Temple, they found that it was all in disarray. It was alien gods, and it was really, really in bad shape. So they cleaned it up, and they wanted to dedicate the temple by kindling the menorah. You see, in the temple, every day, every morning, the high priest would kindle the menorah. There were 7 branches. And every day, the high priest would kindle the menorah. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted to dedicate the temple again by lighting the menorah. But in order to light the menorah, you have to have special oil. Oil which has the seal of the high priest, called pure oil. And the only way you could light the menorah if you have that pure oil. So they found the menorah, they erected the menorah, but they couldn't find oil which had the seal of the high priest, because they were all broken, and it was a big mess. So they started to search the entire temple. And finally they found one small jar of oil which had the seal of the high priest. And they decided that they're going to try it. Even though that small jar of oil was only going to last one day. But they decided, let's do it anyhow, because we want to dedicate it. And as they lit the menorah, and they were very happy, but they were even more happier because for the next 8 days,
yes,
it kept lit.
Yeah, that's a very
That was the
famous story. I remember
That's the
that.
miracle of Hanukkah.
Yes, I remember that.
Just another thing to add, so we have a lot of things on Hanukkah. While the Jewish people could not practice their religion, the children played a very great role, like
Really?
children always do.
Yes.
And they really wanted to study, and but the Greek soldiers would not let them. So the children would hide in caves with their teacher, and they would study the Torah, the Bible. But there was a young boy who always stood at the entrance of the cave to see if any soldiers were coming. And if the soldiers were coming, they immediately closed their books and they took out a dreidel. That's why we play dreidel, which is something like gambling. And when the soldiers came and they saw that the Jewish kids were playing with dreidels, they said, you're playing a gambling dreidel? That's okay. And they left them alone. So as to commemorate that, so we play dreidel on all the nights of Hanukkah. And if you look at the dreidel, it has 4-letter words. Nun, Gimel, Shin, Hey, which means a great miracle took place there.
Yes.
So it's an idea for the children. We give them Hanukkah geld, and we play dreidel with the children.
Well, yes. As I said, it's one of my favorite holidays because of all with playing with the dreidels and everything. But you said it so beautifully. You rekindled all my memories because I learned all this when I went to Hebrew school.
But the message of Hanukkah has to do with us today and all the generations, and not necessarily only for the Jews. It's a message that we could have freedom to express no matter what religion you belong to, that nobody should come and oppress anybody if they want to practice a religion. So when it comes to Hanukkah, called the Festival of Lights, because a small little light could expel great darkness. And this is the whole holiday of Hanukkah, which represents all people and all mankind, that a little light, just a small light, the Hanukkah menorah light, could expel and bring a lot of light to the world and get rid of the darkness.
And today we also, first we light the middle one.
No, we actually write the first one. Every day we add another day because we like to add every day another light to bring more light in. So we use the shamash. The shamash is basically the one who helps it. He's the one who helps, and he allows to light each one. So we put the shamash on the top. He makes sure that everything is okay and everybody's watching it. And every day the shamash plays a role and he lights each one. The first night and the second night and so on.
And then when we light it, we say a prayer, a brocha.
We make the 3 blessings. We make 3 blessings thanking God for the great miracles actually the first one, thanking God that He commanded us to light the menorah, and then for what He did for our fathers then, and also sustained us and brought us to this day. So actually the first day we do 3 blessings.
Oh, I only know of one prayer.
It's okay.
I only know one
But every
prayer.
day we do, and the rest of the days we do 2 prayers.
And then we also, sometimes we sing a Hanukkah song.
Of course, there's a lot of Hanukkah songs which we sing.
Because that's one of my all-time favorite.
Like everybody knows the song, oh, dreidel, dreidel, dreidel,
oh, yes.
I made you out of clay rice.
Yes.
And Mo'osur, or Haneros Halalu. There are many, many beautiful songs which we sing while we light the menorah.
Yes. So it's truly a joyous holiday. And
also what we do is to commemorate that they were looking for oil and they couldn't find the jar of oil, and then they finally found one oil and lit the menorah. So we commemorate and we celebrate foods which is connected to oil. Like we fry different foods like latkes into oil, or donuts, or anything which is connected to oil to commemorate the oil which they found in the temple.
Yeah, that's That's also very good. I remember all that.
That's great.
So you reminded me of everything. So I guess you come from a family of religious people. How many people in your family were rabbis?
Well, I'm one of 9. My parents were unbelievable parents. Unfortunately, I lost my mother. Thank God I have my father. They were very dedicated to us, and they tried to give us a great education.
So your father was a rabbi too?
My father was a rabbi, yes, still a rabbi.
Yeah. And
once a rabbi, always a rabbi.
Oh, yes.
And most of my brothers are all rabbis today.
So, and you have a wonderful family, and you're never alone. You always have a lot of company. When you sit down to eat, there's always a wonderful spread, and you're never alone.
Well, that's thanks to my lovely wife.
Yes.
She gets the credit for all that, to arranging everything. And yes, and particularly on the Sabbath, when all the children come together and we sit together and we spend a beautiful Sabbath together.
And you belong to the Chabad. Is it a Cha or
it's
a
called
ha?
Chabad.
Chabad with a CH.
Right. It's you take the word Chabad, next word for 3 Hebrew letters called Chabad, Chachma, Bina, and Dat. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
So how is that different from all the other religious groups? I mean, the Jewish religion.
Everybody serves God in their own way, and every way is good. Basically, for Chabad is based on education, and it's an outreach. When I was brought up, my parents taught me the Judaism and expected me to reach out to others who didn't have the same education I have, to try to educate other people in Judaism. So this is what Chabad does, and we're surrounded throughout the entire world. There are about over 5,000 centers throughout the world. Every state in the United States has at least a Chabad house, outreach, and basically is we outreach and unconditional love for every fellow human being.
That's great. And you don't need to belong to your group.
You do not need to belong. Every Jew belongs.
Every Jew. I mean, it's not like an official, like you don't pay dues like all the other organizations.
I don't know what all organizations do, and I don't know what they do in other Chabad synagogues, but we do not charge dues. I believe that every Jew belongs.
And just people just give what they can.
Yeah, they could give. It's one of the greatest commandments is called in Hebrew tzedakah, which is called charity. Uh-huh. And so everybody has an opportunity. It's actually an opportunity for everybody to share what they have and to give and help others.
And you have many different functions. You are located in East Hampton.
We are located in East Hampton, and we have branches. I myself opened up quite a few branches out here throughout the Hamptons and Little West as well.
Oh, really? And so you travel over there to help out?
I don't have to travel. Thank God we have different great couples, rabbis and their wives, who run the different centers throughout the Hamptons.
And so what kind of functions do you have, like daily? I know that Goldie, your wife, she holds a tea and Torah, which I go to. That's very nice. It's a very friendly group for ladies. And you run a group for men. I do. I run a group for men, or anybody is invited, but particularly I have the men. I do that on Tuesday afternoon. And we have classes for teaching Hebrew. If anybody would like to have a crash, my daughter-in-law, Musya, gives once a week she gives a class for people to read Hebrew. If you want, my wife works on baking challah to bring in the Sabbath. So anybody wants to bake challah with my wife can bake challah with my wife.
And anybody who needs any help for, to put up a mezuzah, to kosher a home, a visitation, and etc., we're here to help. I myself, I'm the chaplain. I'm the chaplain of the local prisons out here in Riverhead and Yaphank.
Wow.
And so I reach out to the Jewish inmates to bring them the light of Judaism. And we are based and taught by our great leader, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who encouraged us and still encourages us to spread the outreach and to help anybody who's needs, whatever they need.
So how did you get to East Hampton?
I was privileged enough to be, I am a emissary, as I mentioned before. I'm an emissary of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Grand Rabbi, and he sent me out to start Judaism in Long Island. I started first in the west part of Long Island, and I moved myself up to east part of Long Island.
So, but you're not from Long Island.
No, I'm a Brooklyn boy.
Brooklyn, yeah, that's what I thought.
Brought up in Brooklyn. But I'm out here over 30 years.
And where did you meet Goldie, your wife?
Oh, I was lucky enough to meet my lovely wife. I met her in Brooklyn. I knew the family, and a friend of us introduced us, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And how many children you have, sons and daughters?
God blessed us with 12 children.
Yes.
Each one very unique.
Yes.
And thank God today we have 13 grandchildren.
Well, oddly enough, my father was one of 12 children.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
As you know, Judy, I got to practice what I preach.
Yes, yes. And every time I go to your house, it's always so warm and friendly. And that's very, very nice. It's a comfort. It gives me comfort, and I'm sure other people who go there, they feel the same way. You make everybody feel welcome.
Thank you.
And do you have any other things that you still wish to do but you haven't done? Because you already have done a lot, but I'm just wondering if you have any other aspirations.
There's a lot more to do.
Really?
Of course, there's a lot more to do, and it's a great challenge for us. Reaching out to all people is not an easy task.
No.
And helping a lot of people is not an easy task. But I look at it as a labor of love, and I feel it's a mission which Almighty God gave us, and being a shliach, an emissary of the Rebbe. So I try my best, and you got to continue going.
So you must spend a lot of time on the telephone and on the computer, reaching out to people. I do a lot of traveling.
Oh,
really?
Anybody needs anybody, we'll be there for them. Of course, I'm on the phone all the time. And a lot of people come to my home or to the temple to talk and to whatever their problems are.
Would you say that you are constantly getting new people into the organization?
Well, thank God, our temple is growing, beautiful. The winter is a little slow. Summer is, as you know, it's quite full. Mm-hmm. And so every day we try to reach out to more and more, and it doesn't matter where they belong. And they could come to seek our advice, no matter where they live and what temple they belong to. It doesn't matter.
Last, I think it was summer, I attended a huge function in somebody's home where you had all sorts of foods and drinks and entertainment. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure, I know what you're talking about. In order for us to survive, so we need the help of all the beautiful people out there. So once a year we make a cocktail party. So we bring somebody to a nice home and we give them good food, and hopefully they would.
But whose home was that?
Last year, I don't exactly remember whose home. We had many homes which we've gone to. Last year, last summer, we went to a beautiful home in East Hampton. His name was Joel Stern, and he opened up his home for us.
It was a huge estate.
Right.
And all that food, oh my gosh.
And it was kosher.
It was kosher. Oh my gosh, by the time the main course came, I couldn't eat anything.
Don't worry, the food went.
The food went, yeah. Wherever people go, food goes all the time.
Right.
So, and that function, you charge people. There was like
yes, we charge people because they do it to come in and to help out, like any other dinner
like
or a cocktail.
A fundraiser.
It's called a fundraiser. That's correct.
Yes. And was it successful?
Thank God. People are very kind, and I appreciate everything what the people do for us.
And you also had like a brochure where everybody's name was on it.
Yes.
In it, and how much they donated.
Or they want, sometimes you have, if you want to have a gold page or a platinum page or a full page, each one what you could do to help out.
And as far as you are very kosher, and a lot of times Goldie said that she has to go to Brooklyn to get some food because they don't have enough kosher things here.
Well, the local stores, when it comes to meats and different kosher items, the only thing you get them in Queens or in Brooklyn. Yeah. So what I do is once a week, I'm always traveling anyhow. I'm traveling to the city all the time. So I stop by in Brooklyn, I fill up my car, and we have a couple of freezers, and we just put them all in the freezers, and that's how it works.
That's how, and also for school, you go far away for the kids.
Well, yes, we run one of the schools in Lake Ronkonkoma called Maimonides Day School. Myself and my wife were doing for many, many years. And so when I moved out here, not only myself did it, but my son Isaac, and for his children. So every day they have to travel over an hour there, an hour back to go to school so they can have a proper Jewish education.
Like, I was amazed that your granddaughter was like 3 years old, and she goes to school there, and she loved it. She loved it.
What's there not to love,
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Because most of the time we just keep our kids, at home, and, a lot of times the kids have nothing to do. But over there, the time is well spent.
Well, I'm sure out here they have also the schools which the kids attend to.
Not at 3. Not a 2-year-old.
Okay, that's true, but they have some. I'm sure they have some stuff for children out here. But if we're seeking, particularly which way I was brought up, the most important thing is education. That's the bottom line. That's basically what our organization is all about, to educate. And so we try from the child who is from birth to start to educate the child, to give them a warm feeling of Judaism. And so we start them young in a very pleasant and a happy and a great surrounding.
Yes, and they like it. They like
Love
it. That's also good. And so all your Isaac and your other sons, you said they are also rabbis.
Well, I have my son Isaac and Musya, which you know.
Yes.
They live out here, and thank God they have 3 children.
Yes.
I have a daughter who is doing outreach in Richmond, Virginia, and my son, my oldest son, started also a Chabad outreach at Lewisburg, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And so he's starting off, and I hear he's doing very well, and we wish him lots of luck. And my other children, my son, I have a son who got married, who has a child, and he is doing his outreach for Chabad in Oceanside.
I know Oceanside. I used to live in Baldwin.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Well,
So they're spread out all over.
yes, but I noticed that when the high holidays come, you always make them come home.
I don't make anybody come home. I love when they come home.
I know.
But we love to have
You
them.
expect them to come home.
Well, yeah, well,
Yes.
if they're not at their synagogue, but I love having our children and our
Yes.
grandchildren home.
I know.
And who wouldn't?
You're a great family.
Thank you.
I like being surrounded by your family. Well, this has been a very quick half hour, and I want to thank you again for coming and sharing your knowledge with us. And you could all watch me either on local TV or on YouTube. I upload my tapes. And I want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah.
If I could add to Les, we
Very
have a brochure
quickly.
here
Yeah.
where it gives us every night we'll be having a different lighting. Like tomorrow night we have an Amagansett, and then we have a Montauk, and Sunday we're going to have a menorah parade. Like we're going to put menorahs on top of a car, and you're going to be part of
Yes,
it.
yes.
And we're going to be driving around, and then we're going
Yes.
to come to Herrick Park, and over there we're going to have a beautiful Hanukkah menorah together with all the dignitaries of East Hampton. And
Yeah.
so you can get our brochure to tell you all about our different Hanukkah programs, which we
Yes.
have throughout the 8 days. And everybody is welcome, and there's good food and good company. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful
you.
festival of lights and a happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Thank you.